In a world where you can ask an AI to do your homework, type a sentence to generate the next Mona Lisa, and can theoretically beat a grandmaster using a chess spot hidden somewhere, it's starting to seem like artificial intelligence can do everything human intelligence can, but better. To test that out, I raced an AI to learn parkour.
This is so much harder than I expected.
And yes, I did get hurt in the process. Let me explain. Thank you to 80,000 Hours for sponsoring this video, and to our patrons for supporting the channel. So I've been thinking a lot about AI nowadays, mainly because I can't avoid it. But I keep seeing this claim. It's that machines learn and think like people, like humans. And it's easy to see why. At its core, machine learning is really all about looking at data and abstracting patterns. It might be able to see more and process faster than any individual, but that core functionality, that's the same, isn't it? I don't think so. Ooh, conflict. I just think that there is something fundamentally different between how an AI learns versus a human being, right? I just don't know what that is. So let's find out. In this video, I am going to race an AI to learn something and compare the process. I just need to figure out what to learn. Okay, I need to find something in the intersection of things I can't do and things I want to learn. Don't look at my handwriting. Anyway, this means that I can't compete with DALL-E or ChatGPT because I've been drawing and writing for years. We wouldn't be able to compare the learning process from the beginning. On the other hand, I can't make a chess AI either because I hate chess. It's so boring. So, in the intersection right now, there's really only one choice. Parkour! My sign fell off. So why parkour? Good question. I'm not physically competent. That's the bluntest way to put it. So the idea of being able to move your body so efficiently yet gracefully, it's just really cool to me. But for reference, I am the type of person who has to do a dad grunt every time I get up. Ugh. So this is our human starting point. What about our AI? I don't know what I'm doing. When I thought of doing parkour, I thought I was just gonna be able to Google, what is Boston Dynamics doing? But it turns out, it's not even AI. I mean, it kind of is. It's more like a robot that is chaining together actions that were programmed from like a movement library. And then it's using machine learning to maintain its balance and posture so that it doesn't fall over. Really cool, deeply terrifying, and not really a machine learning how to do something from step zero, which is what I'm trying to do. So instead I've just been watching a bunch of videos of how people teach an AI to do stuff. How to walk, drive, do an escape room. None of them are particularly parkour related. Eventually I accepted that there isn't going to be an easy tutorial for me to follow, and that I'll need to figure out a lot of this by myself. Okay, so I've installed this thing called Unity. It's a game engine that you might have heard of because it was used to develop that Goose Game and Amogus. And soon, my little parkour guy. I chose this program because it has a lot of documentation and tutorials that I can build off of and mash together. So it has a specific package called ML Agents. Basically, this lets me use some code to get a little guy like this cube here to do things using a specific type of machine learning. So now all I need to do is learn how to use this new technique in this new program while coding in a new language. I love learning. I hate learning. It just took so much longer to install all the libraries and packages and frameworks to get everything running. And that is in part my fault, right? I'll start a tutorial, get like halfway through, and fully believe I know exactly what I'm doing. So then I'll try and do things, right? But it turns out I don't know anything. I know negative things, but I just keep doing it because I'm stupid. I took a step back and eventually accepted that I just need to read the documentation. I hate it when the thing that I avoided doing was in fact the right thing to do. I feel like I just wasted like 2 days. And it took a couple of tries, but I got it working. Kind of. Say hello to my boy. He's still growing, no arms or legs yet, but he's more of a proof of concept to show that I know what I'm doing, or to remind me that I don't know what I'm doing. In a reinforcement learning problem, he is our agent, and he's trying to learn a policy, that is how to interact with his environment. In this case, it is a black square in the void. Anyway, he builds that policy by trying to maximize a reward signal that we define based off what we want him to do. In this case, parkour. So how do we reward parkour? parkour? Well, it took a little longer than I should have, but I finally Googled what parkour actually is, and it turns out it's the sport of getting from point A to point B as quickly and efficiently as possible. So that means that we just need to set a point A and point B on our map, have them start at point A, and give them a big reward at point B. We can encourage speed and efficiency by giving a punishment or negative reward proportionate to how long it takes to finish. So, if we do all that, we end up with something like this. Please work, please work, please work, please. Yes. In case you're wondering, the yellow block is a small reward that's really only worth pursuing if it's easy to get or on the way to the green reward, which is the finish line. Look at him go. Now, he isn't perfect, nobody is, but he is just a proof of concept that took 2 weeks and most of my mental health to make. But now all I need to do is give him a body and make the environment more complex. How hard can it be? Okay, we need to go on a little mental health walk. It's just frustrating because I have been working on this video for like the past 2 months and I feel like I haven't made much progress. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been tempted to quit. But one of the things that's keeping me going is actually something I learned from today's sponsor. 80,000 hours. You see, we only have about 80,000 hours in our career. That's a lot of time. That's enough time to do something really impactful, leave a positive mark on the world. The problem is, it's really tough to find a job that you find fulfilling, but also does good. Luckily, 80,000 hours has been researching that very problem for the past 10 years, and they want to share what they learned with you for free. They're a nonprofit that just wants to help people build careers that do good. Their website has all of their research on high-impact careers, and they maintain a job board that posts open roles that tackle the world's most pressing problems. And that includes AI catastrophe, since so much money is being spent on developing AI products and not enough on auditing, accountability, and honest communication. It's the kind of stuff that keep people safe and informed. So even though this video is taking so much longer than I want it to, I like to think it's worthwhile since it means that we'll understand this technology a little bit better. So if you want to get started on building a fulfilling career that does some good, sign up for their newsletter at 80,000hours.org/answer and get their in-depth career guide for free. Thanks again to 80,000 Hours for sponsoring this video. Now back to my crisis. Welcome to my little mental health walk. I think I have 2 problems. Problem 1, I don't know anything. I'm trying to learn stuff, but it's a slow process, like learning always is. Every time I try something, I get a bunch of errors, and then I have to figure out what those errors are, fix them, and then see results that don't even look that good. And I think that is because of problem 2. I don't know what parkour looks like. Ready for my parkour? Like, I don't even know what the movements are supposed to be, let alone think about them, and this makes it really difficult for me to build and teach my agent what is right and wrong, because I don't even know what right and wrong is. In order to teach, I need to learn. So I think it's time for me to finally start learning parkour. Luckily, there's a place in Toronto called the Monkey Vault that does exactly that.
She doesn't have a jacket on. This is crazy. You're so small.
Hello, Devin.
Hi.
This is Devin, probably the most supportive person I've ever met. That being said, he didn't just walk me through the basics. He parkoured me through them, and now everything hurts.
Your goal is to figure out the relationship between that counterbalanced leg and your balance.
Oh, Lord, help me.
Reach, hold, and reach again. That's it.
This is so fun. So it's day 2. We all know that my AI hasn't been doing too well, so I decided to sprain my wrist to even the playing field.
Got it. As you put that foot in there, step on up.
Sometimes you do something impossible and then you look at me like, it's fine.
Fantastic.
I did it.
Yeah. Now swing on through.
Oh God, it's so scary.
Yeah, now jump down. We're gonna use this to scale from here, up and out.
Oh, it's so high up.
1, 2.
Oh!
Nice, very close. Come on, come on, come on. Oh. Nice.
Oh, no, it's so scary. If you want to see the extended cuts of all of my parkour lessons, I think we're putting them up on Patreon and they should be up now by the time you're watching this video. If you watch them, you'll understand how I learned the following 2 things. 1, I'm not in good shape. But more importantly, number 2, how I should think about moving my body, like where my hands and my feet should go and how my movements should flow into each other. I'm not good at it, but it kind of feels like my AI and I were facing the same problem. We didn't know the details of what we should be doing. I've kind of learned my lesson. But now let's get the AI on board. Alright, so I spent the last week improving the controls on the body parts and joints. I also increased the specificity of the reward function to encourage more detailed movements. I don't know if it's gonna work. I also got a 3D scan of the monkey vault, so my AI and I can practice in the same place. My code is disgusting and terribly inefficient, and there's definitely a couple of redundancies in there. But I'm now able to think what I want and then type it out, rather than Googling, copying, pasting, and hoping for the best and being confused. So actual improvement. Now I'm gonna let it train for a few hours, and we'll see where we get. This is so exciting! Yeah, it's time to ask for help. Could you go through some of the major challenges that come with using RL?
There are many challenges.
This is Pablo Samuel Castro, a researcher at Google Brain.
Sometimes this behavior specification can be really, really hard. I mean, reward functions is one of the key elements for getting the behavior you want.
Now remember, the goal of an agent in a reinforcement learning problem is to learn how to interact with its environment to maximize an expected reward. So let's take Pong for example. The agent interacts with the world by deciding whether or not to move the paddle up or down. It can inform this decision based off the position of the ball and its velocity. It gets rewarded with points. That's a pretty simple set of actions with a very clear reward signal. Now let's look at my problem. My agent needs to figure out which limb to move, how much force to apply, and in what direction in 3D space. It needs to do that basically every second to avoid falling over. On top of all that, it needs to navigate obstacles to get to a goal on the other side of the gym. That's a lot going on, and so the current signal might not be clear enough for my agent to see consistent success.
It's very what's called sparse reward, so you don't get many signals as to you're on the right track. So the agent typically starts in an environment it knows nothing about, and it has to figure out what this environment is by building estimates, and then as it's propagating it back to neighboring states, it's using those estimates. And so if your estimates are really wrong, you're also propagating those errors to other states, and you're making the problem even worse.
I guess you could kind of compare this to picking up a bad habit or doing something wrong because you never learned it properly in the first place. Unfortunately, I think that means 2.5 months into this project, I need to start from square one. I know that sounds disheartening, but to be honest, it kind of just feels refreshing. The old project had assets from all of my previous attempts. Like every time I'd skim through the code, there was some remnant of something I thought I had gotten rid of or something commented out that shouldn't be. So even though it's a bit of a pain to have to build everything up from the beginning, it does mean that everything that makes it to the end is supposed to be there. So let's do it. We're starting with the basics, which might seem boring, but problems here will reach everything else, so it's worth the effort again, and again, and again. When it was time to start stringing moves together, I learned that it was more important to think about flow rather than every individual muscle and joint.
This sport kind of lends itself to flow states. When I'm really enjoying movement, there are no thoughts, I'm just letting the body move.
But despite all the practice, unwanted habits can keep rearing their heads. My AI continued to struggle maintaining balance and getting to the goal, and I kept getting scared.
Oh my god, why is my brain freezing?
And it was in the depths of all that when things finally clicked. The whole point of this video is to figure out the differences between how AI and people learn and think, right? So we're back in bed, everything hurts. I've spent most of this video thinking about the ways that we're similar. We abstract patterns, we shape our choices with data, we benefit from subject matter experts, and we perpetuate bad habits. But when it comes down to how we're different, I think I finally figured it out. I think that the fundamental difference lies in the fact that I'm still doing this 3 months in. I think. I lost count. Despite the pain, frustration, embarrassment, I want to do this, so I'm doing it. There's emotion and intent. On the other hand, a machine can do the same thing tens of thousands, millions of times and not care if it's doing it right or wrong. It doesn't care about anything. It's just doing what it thinks it's being told.
Your agent, you can think of it as its entire existence can be devoted to trying to cheat at the game that you're putting in front of it. My name is Brad Hayes. I'm an assistant professor of computer science at the University of Colorado Boulder, where I direct the collaborative AI and robotics lab. So I want my autonomous car to get me from point A to point B, and maybe I say I want you to get me there as quickly as possible, so I'll penalize it for taking a long time. And now it is speeding 100 miles an hour, it is crashing through houses and fences because I never told it that it had to obey road rules. These systems don't have any common sense. They don't have any kind of knowledge scaffolding, the same way that you or I do.
And this is because humans and current AI are just built differently, leading us to excel at different things. You see, the human brain is the result of millions of years of just trying to stay alive. This long and high-stakes training environment means that we're able to quickly adapt mentally and physically to chaotic environments. Now, an AI can try and mimic that by abstracting generalizable behaviors using neural nets, but it's just worse. It takes way more data to learn, but that data might not be available, ethically sourced, or complete. And if the challenge is too complex, hardware can limit the ability to find a solution. This is how I, the least coordinated person I know, am still so much better at parkour than my AI. And this little guy doesn't even need to care about breathing, or heat regulation, or distractions, or the laws of physics sometimes. This project was a nightmare. But being a living thing has its disadvantages. For the sake of efficiency, we tend to oversimplify information using cognitive biases, and we're not that good at multitasking. On the other hand, a machine can process millions of operations in a second, analyze more data than a human can see in a lifetime, perfectly transfer what it's learned to other computers, and store that knowledge basically forever. So it looks like humans can learn a lot from a little and apply that knowledge in a wide array of scenarios. On the other hand, current AI seems to learn relatively little given a whole lot, which means that it can only effectively apply its knowledge in relatively narrow scenarios. I mean, ChatGPT can write a mean essay, but can it do parkour?
I'm afraid I can't do that.
I can. Badly, but I can do both. But seriously, acknowledging this difference is really important, because even though an AI can achieve human-like success in narrow applications, that doesn't mean that it generates human-like errors.
We're not really conditioned to do the same kind of nonsense detection. So we have all this history and background when a person is telling us lies, right? Or things that aren't true. And we don't have the same experience in applying those filters when a confident sounding, hyped AI system, it's still going to convince people to do some bad things. And there are going to be some consequences to that.
Now, this doesn't mean that AI is inherently bad. It just means that it has different strengths and weaknesses that we need to remember and maybe use to our advantage.
How do we take these really exciting and seemingly capable things and then deploy them responsibly? Explainable AI is all about trying to figure out some kind of insight into the decision-making rationale that led to whatever the output of the model might be.
I apologize if this sounds reductive, but it's a bit like spell check, you know?
Absolutely. It's one of those things that you could do. You could look it up yourself, but sometimes it is a lot quicker to do your best, zeroth effort guess, and then have the machine say, I'm pretty sure this is what you meant, and you say, yes, that looks right.
Even ChatGPT owes a lot of its success to human collaboration. So maybe instead of racing an AI, I should collaborate with it. Okay, so it looks like I have two options here. I can use my human knowledge to help my AI improve in performance, or I can use AI to help me. I'm looking out for number one. I'm also way more invested in learning parkour than I expected to be. So let's just Perfect. Now all I need to do is figure out how to use AI to help me get over my fear of consequences. I need an inspirational speech. You know, the kind that happens in movies that inspires this team of scrappy youths to take on the big challenge. I am the scrappy youth, and this stupid jump that has totally devastated my self-esteem, that is my William Zabka. so I need to use AI to inspire me. Luckily, there's this thing called ChatGPT, which can apparently write up a mean speech. Do you just ask it? I'm gonna just try and ask it, okay. Oh my god! To make sure I really internalized this speech, I used ElevenLabs to synthesize a voice that I could listen to on loop.
All right, friend, now listen up. I know that parkour can be a bit daunting at times, but let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a bird fly high up in the sky? I mean, really soar with the wind in their feathers? Now, I'm not saying that you're a bird, but you can learn a lot from them. They trust in their own ability to take flight. You've been working hard these past 3 months. You've learned new skills and overcome obstacles. So when it comes to those big jumps, just remember, you've got this. Trust in yourself, your training, and your instincts. Take a deep breath, focus on your goal, and go for it. You might stumble, you might fall, but that's okay. The important thing is that you keep trying, keep learning, and keep growing. So spread your wings, my friend, and soar. You've got this.
Did it! Now here's the wild thing. I think it helped. Having that speech on loop kept me focused and assured. It was like having my own personal cheerleader, except I didn't feel like I was a burden on someone.
I'm very sorry.
That's okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
I'm so sorry this is taking so long.
That's okay.
Just knowing that that speech was generated from beginning to end by a stack of unfeeling and unthinking code is what made it useful. And this is not the video I thought I was gonna make. I thought that I was gonna see an AI completely body me and just showcase how everything is gonna get dominated by AI. But now, knowing what I do about the comparative strengths and weaknesses of AI, it feels kind of obvious that this is a human story because this is a human technology. We are the ones shaping its future, so it's good to be informed and involved. But besides the AI, this would not have been possible without the folks at the Monkey Vault. They set up mats so I could be safe, they shared advice, and they cheered me on when I was doing something that they could easily do like in their sleep. If you're in Toronto, go check them out. If you're not in Toronto, go to Toronto and then go check them out. Anyway, that's the video. Sorry it took so long and ended up being kind of mid, but either way, have a lovely day.